We have a lot to talk about in this trading day, so let's get started and begin our trading day setup for you. And we head over to the CBOE, and Kevin Hincks is standing by, host of Fast Market. It's Fed Day, and folks are expecting 25 basis points, but I think there's a much more big picture story with this, especially today.
Good morning, Nicole. Yeah, that won't be the big story unless they deviate from that. If it comes in 25 basis points, that won't be the big story. It'll be the summary of economic projections, where we'll get looks on real GDP growth, unemployment, inflation, and PCE, the Fed funds rate, projections for right now and out for the next 2 years. So we'll get a lot of information from there. Then we'll get Jerome Powell and how he explains not only where he sees the economy right now, but he'll have to talk about the SEP as well and discuss that. And that's usually where the market gets the brunt of its information, right? There'll be a statement, there'll be small changes made to it, but there's so many issues today with the Fed rate decision. Is there going to be dissenters? Is there going to be more than normal or less? Are they dissenting on which side? Are they dissenting towards no cut or dissenting towards 50 basis point cut? So there's going to be a lot of information for the market to consume and digest today, Nicole.
And look, there was talk that Stephen Myron might even be a dissenter and really be voting and pushing for 50 basis points, right? It'll be really interesting to see. Obviously, the Fed is now under scrutiny, and there's been a lot of talk about Fed independence. And so that'll be obviously big talk this afternoon. We'll have all of that for you here on Schwab Network. Also, we have trade talks, headlines, UK, China. What a welcome for President Trump in the UK. Tell me a little bit of your thoughts here.
A lot of pomp and circumstance this morning as we see President Trump I've been calling him Prince Charles my whole life. Now it's King Charles. And really big ceremonial, outputting for President Trump. It's really actually quite impressive what they've done for President Trump and the First Lady. So yeah, watching that unfold on TV this morning has been pretty incredible. Now, what does that do? Does that mean new deals between U.S. and the UK? This is more of a state visit. I don't know if anything will get done, but as you know, the Trump administration, they do like to do business while these things happen, but it's a pretty big honor and a lot of ceremony going on right now in the UK. So I don't know if anything will come of it, but it sure is impressive to see, Nicole.
Yeah, without a doubt. So investments from all these companies, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Alphabet, OpenAI, announced those UK investments. I mean, the China story, we know they've had 4 meetings. We have maybe one more coming up. But the NVIDIA pressure on NVIDIA, we know that, obviously NVIDIA not happy. But I think it was Mike Johnson who said also disappointed. It may have been Mike Johnson who said disappointed that China's rejecting NVIDIA chips right now. So last but not least, looking forward to having Dolly and Jenny Lenz on shortly talking about housing. We got some housing market data in this morning. Tell me a little bit about the takeaways.
Yeah, 2 data points for housing this morning. One good, one not as great. First, we got mortgage apps early this morning showing the signs of interest rates. The 30-year mortgage went from 6.49 to 6.39. And as you realize, when rates go down, you see the sensitivity. Purchases up 2.9%. That's after being up 6.6% a week ago. Refinances, Nicole, up 24.4%. That is a big jump. And you're seeing, remember, that was after being up 12% a week ago. So big surges in not only purchases, but refis as well for mortgages. Big numbers there. Now, housing starts and permits, a little bit different story there. Light on both numbers. Housing starts, that is measured when the foundation is starting to be built on a house. They measure that as a housing start. Less than expected, 1.307 million. That's down from last month. That was over 1.4 million and less than the 1.37 expected. Permits, those are future. That's paperwork towards future building. Also, lower than expected, 1.31 million, also lower than last month. That was over 1.35. So a great number in terms of mortgage applications, that high frequency data that we get every Wednesday on mortgages, but a little miss on starts and permits, Nicole.
All right. Thank you so much. Kevin Hincks, great to see you this morning.